got her into the situation that she was in, and build her brick by brick into who and what she is today. And part of that price is giving up autonomy and privacy when it comes to your phone. And this is simple. If you have nothing to hide, then you should have no problem with handing your phone over when he asks you to. Well, if he trusts me, he shouldn't have to ask. That's your main problem, sweetheart. He doesn't trust you. And this is where women go wrong. They assume that if a man is fucking him, then he must also trust him. But I'll tell you what, her friends don't even recognize her. Matter of fact, one of her best friends, told Devin, she's like, I don't even recognize you anymore. What's with all of this wearing? If you don't want to wear high heels, then don't wear high heels. And enough of me bragging about the awesome body of my woman, that I paid a lot of money for, by the way. Dude, I paid for them titties. I paid for her tits. I bought the gym. I paid her personal trainer a ridiculous amount of money.
I'm not sure I understand.
Of course you don't. You're a fucking feminist, Siri. Now shut the fuck up.
Hi, this Donavan Sharpe here, he was angered by this article wrote by a woman where she's just basically giving her opinion on how to spot the red flags that somebody you're dating, that they might be overly possessive or jealous or a toxic person to be with, okay? Now you might be thinking well, why would somebody be triggered by an article like that? Well, you might want to remember that this is guys from the red pill community, and a lot of them, they are basically walking red flags of what it might be a good idea for you to avoid, okay?
Allow me to tell you guys sort of a quick story that is more or less leading up to what I'm going to talk about today. So when Devin and I first started dating, there was a situation that came up. It was a minor situation on its face, but if gone unchecked, could certainly escalate into something much bigger down the road. So on blind instinct, gentlemen, I took immediate action and I verbally reprimanded her. I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I didn't raise my voice, but I had a I'm not fucking around here kind of tone, which obviously grabbed the attention of Devin, which of course was by design. Anyway, after I admonished her, she asked me, well, I understand what you're saying, Donovan, but do you think a normal man would react this way in this situation? Now, I gotta tell you guys, when she asked me this, my frustration completely subsided. All of the frustration and anger that I had completely subsided. And the reason it did is because I knew right then and there that she was about to learn exactly who I really was and what I was really all about. Now, to this point, I want you guys to keep in mind, to this point, we had had a few hiccups, nothing out of the ordinary, right, early in a relationship. But again, this was a pivotal point in our relationship, and she was about to find out I am not the kind of dude who just runs his mouth for the sake of establishing dominance or getting the frame back or any other. I knew that I knew that at this point, Devin was going to have to make a choice, a very important choice, that the many other women before her also had to make, which was to either continue the training, which is outlined in my 5-part, 7-hour audio course, How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up, or we can go our separate ways. So I looked at her, and, to answer her question about whether or not I think a normal man would react this way to a situation, I smirked at her, and I said to her verbatim, well, of course not. And if you expect me to act like a normal man, you are going to be disappointed. So now you have a decision to make. You can either have a normal relationship with a normal man, or you can be with me. Well, Devin made her choice, and the rest, as they say, is history. Gentlemen, what you're going to have to understand is that if you want a good relationship with a woman, you are going to have to be different. You cannot be normal by today's standards. There are things that you are going to have to say and do. You're going to have to do things that are viewed as not normal, or dare I say, unhealthy and toxic. There are so many forces, guys, working against us men in terms of keeping us from doing what is necessary to have good relationships with women, that any time we deviate at all from what the world characterizes as healthy and normal, we're called misogynists. We're called controlling. We're called possessive.
Okay, so it's interesting that these guys who never seem to have healthy relationships themselves go on about how you can't just be a normal man, okay, to have a healthy relationship, when it's well, normal people do have healthy relationships. Yeah, sure, people can have problems and people can fail in relationships sometimes, but normal people have healthier relationships than these guys in the red pill community who do have their toxic way of thinking, right? Now, okay, this incident that he talks about with his girlfriend is we don't know what happened, but it kind of sounds a little bit like he was overreacting to something, and his girlfriend pointed out a normal man wouldn't react like this, and instead of self-reflecting and thinking, oh, maybe I overreacted slightly, he just goes down the road of being well, this is how I am, you should either be with me or don't, and it's always their attitude is always oh, our way of being is the right way and it's everybody else that's wrong. When they talk about this red pill, blue pill stuff, it's if all your relationships keep failing, Okay, it's like you're the common denominator, right? And some of these guys, instead of like realizing that, they come to the conclusion that it's everybody else in the world that's wrong. And this is why they talk about this blue pill and red pill stuff. It's like, well, I've took the red pill, I know the truth, I'm an alpha male, they're all betas. This kind of attitude, when in reality, in the case of quite a few of them, it looks like they're actually the one that has the problem, but they'll never realize that. They'll always just like be, you know, no, it's society, it's wrong, it's everybody else that's wrong, normal men are just betas, I'm the one who's always in the right, when, like, these guys, they never seem to have, like, lasting relationships, and they don't seem to have healthy relationships when they're in a relationship.
And if you succumb to the shaming tactics of today's feminist infected culture, you've already failed before your relationship even begins, which leads me to today's topic. Anyway, Alex H. sent me this article entitled Jealous Boyfriend, What's Normal versus Unhealthy, and it was written by Ashley User, who fashions herself, she actually fashions herself a specialist in sex and dating, which means she is a 304 who blogs about her flings like every other woman who sleeps around and can string two sentences together on a website. Guys, look, women like Ashley User, they're a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. They really, really are, okay? She's attractive, she sleeps around, she has a blog, and she's doing the whole digital nomad thing. She spends time in DC and New York to add more stories to her blog, which really is another word for bodies added to my count, who also thinks she is somehow unique or special.
Straight away, they make assumptions about this woman, like the way they make assumptions about every woman. It's like these guys that they don't like get to know like what a woman's like. They just sort of like imprint their like negative feelings about women onto every woman, right? Like, you don't know her, but you'll assume that she sleeps around. If she's had like more than a couple of relationships, they'll just assume that she sleeps around, okay? Or this constant claiming that women think that they're special, because you get the same sort of thing from like Myron Gaines, like, as well. He's always saying to women, you're not special, you're not special. And it's like, just because a woman has a bit of self-respect doesn't mean that she thinks she's special, okay? If a woman doesn't want to put up with the kind of sleazy, misogynist, the kind of guy that cheats on her.
He's rich, he's ripped, he takes care of you, you're driving a G-Wagon, you know, you got a $5,000 allowance, you got an American Express black card, you never have to want for anything. And if he cheats on you with if he sleeps with another woman, oh my God, it's over. The ego is so big with women.
That was the kind of guy that's controlling, the kind of guy that treats her badly, or the kind of guy that doesn't like women. Okay, that doesn't mean that she thinks she's special. She's just having the basic level of respect that anybody, male or female, should have for their self. Okay.
The problem is, gentlemen, is that there are so many women out here like her that influence most of the female population, which is one of the main reasons why most women sleep around and don't feel like they're doing anything wrong until, of course, they're in their late 30s, early 40s.
Actually, that's not true. People are having less sex now, okay? The majority of women are not sleeping around. But in, like, the red pill community, it's just an insult that they'll aim at any woman who they don't like, who annoys them or anything. They'll just either call her a slut and say that she must be easy, or they'll tell her she's hit the wall, or tell her that she's fat or ugly, or something like that. It's just childish. Ad hominems.
And a man they happen to be sleeping with says, well, you know, I've never dated an older woman before. What's it like being single in your 40s? Miss Uzer's mindset in terms of what she believes is normal and unhealthy in relationships is exactly why men like us are called names. And if a man who does not have the personal conviction, if a man does not have the personal resolve to push forward and do what needs to be done to preserve the integrity of his relationship, in the end, it's inevitable. He's going to Google, how can I win back my cheating girlfriend? Which we all know is further prolonging the slow, painful death of his manhood. So let's go ahead and get started to see what Miss Uzer has to say, shall we? Make sure this is big enough for you guys. There we go. There we go. I just want to make sure you guys can see that. Very, 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 very nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. If Disney gave us unrealistic expectations for finding love, she starts, Hollywood gave us unrealistic expectations for what a healthy relationship looks like. Unfortunately, tons of movies and TV shows portray boyfriends acting in obsessive, controlling, and borderline stalkerish ways as a sign that they really care about their female partner or a crush. Growing up with these influences can make it easy for women to confuse warning signs as simply a signal that their boyfriend truly loves them. And unfortunately, this can be dangerous. If you're wondering if your boyfriend's jealous behavior is normal versus something to be concerned about, here are some guidelines. So Ashley is talking out of both sides of her mouth in these first few paragraphs here, guys. So she acknowledges that Disney movies and romantic comedies give women unrealistic expectations. But in the same breath, she says that obsessive, controlling boyfriends are showing that they care about their girlfriends in a way that says this behavior is unhealthy and wrong. Now, I want to make this clear. Don't get me wrong, guys. Being an obsessive stalker is not normal. It's not normal in any circumstance, especially within the confines of a sexual relationship, and not in a good way. We all know this. But when Ashley and women like her groups controlling with being an obsessive stalker, she is disingenuously putting them in the same category. I've said this a million times, guys. Men cannot control women. Women are autonomous, sentient beings that can do whatever they want. But when a man gives his girlfriend or his significant other choices that she does not like, you know what she'll accuse him of? She will accuse him of trying to control her. But what she really means is that she wants to engage in the activity that he established would end their relationship, but still be in the relationship, which is pretty much every girl's MO these days.
Okay, what he's doing here is what these red pill guys do all the time, right? Is they class all men as exactly the same, all women exactly the same, and all relationship situations exactly the same, when they're not, right? Because there's a difference between, right, if a man, like, I don't know, sets some, like, you know, healthy boundaries in the relationship, and then the woman started calling him controlling when he's not being unreasonable, well, in that situation, I'd say that kind of shows some red flags that she's the toxic one in that situation, okay? But what this woman is giving advice on, she's giving advice, like, to look out for signs that the guy is being controlling, that the guy, in a bad way, like, not just setting healthy boundaries, okay? Because, I mean, you know, there are people that are controlling, like, in not a good way, and that can be men and women, and she's just pointing out, like, some of the red flags, or what she thinks are the red flags to look out for. But Donovan here is trying to sort of twist it around to make out that, like, oh, you know, this hysterical woman, she's just calling everything abuse and everything controlling, when, no, there's a difference between, like, somebody setting healthy boundaries and somebody being a control freak, and that's what she's trying to advise you to look out for, okay?
Modern women want all of the benefits of being in a relationship without any of the costs, including the consequences her boyfriend informed her of should she continue said behavior he established from the start. Remember, we talked about this with the Jonah Hill situation. You guys remember that? Jonah Hill laid out all of his standards and boundaries and expectations, but unfortunately for him, it was too late. He didn't establish this from the beginning, which is why his now ex-girlfriend made a big stink about the fact that he was trying to lay down the law. It was too late. It was too late. He probably asked her for a relationship first. And guys, I want you to understand this. I know a lot of you guys have heard me say this many times. I cannot say this enough. Never, ever, ever angle for a relationship first with a woman. When you do, you are literally forfeiting your right to establish boundaries, standards, and expectations. The reason for that is because when you ask a woman to be your girlfriend, or when you give a girl your commitment without her having to earn it, in her mind, rightfully so, she assumes that she has fulfilled everything necessary to earn your commitment. So when you ask her to be your girlfriend, she says yes, but then you try to establish different rules and expectations. No, it doesn't work that way. You must make your woman earn your commitment. If she does not earn your commitment, she will not value your commitment. That's the way this goes. So let's just make one thing clear straight away. Let's just make one thing clear just straight away out of the gate. Obsessive and stalkerish is not the same as controlling as women describe it. Let me repeat that. Obsessive and stalkerish are not the same as controlling as women describe it.
Yes, but neither of those things are good, is it? It's not good to be an obsessive stalker, and it's not good to be a control freak, okay? And it's not good for anybody to put up with any of those, okay? Whether you're a man or a woman, okay? Neither of those are good things, okay?
That said, let's go in here and take a look at what Miss Oozer has to say about normal versus not normal. Normal, she says. Pardon me. Normal, she starts. Wanting to hear about your day. Not normal. Asking a slew of questions about your day that seem more about gathering information than interest in your life. As if we're actually interested in what the fuck you vapid, boring-ass bitches do throughout your day. Like, we are not interested in what you had to do.
Well, it's nice to know that he thinks so highly of his girlfriend, isn't it? No, I'm not gonna ask her about her day, because why would I want to know what a vapid, boring bitch has to say, okay? This is why, like, you know, statements like this is like why I do not really believe that a lot of these guys in the red pill community actually, like, are capable of actually caring about a woman or having a stable relationship. And a lot of what they have to say about women is projection, I think, because it's sort of said with such hatred, you know, boring, vapid ass. It's like, I think they're sort of describing how they feel about their self, and they always talk about how selfish women are and how uncaring women are, and a lot of the time I think they're actually talking about their self, because, I mean, you know, they're saying all this about women, but, like, look at them, look at what kind of people they are, and how much affection they have for their partners.
Today. We're not interested in your lunch with your coworkers. We're not interested in the conversation you had with Chelsea and account. We don't care about any of that. We don't care. We ask questions about how your day is to get a baseline, and we'll go over this later. She continues, there is a fine line between a guy who wants to hear about your day and a guy who sounds like he's interrogating you. A nice, quote, what did you get up to today can be great. On the other hand, she continues, when you go out one night and have to deal with your boyfriend, who was there, asking who was there, how you got drunk, and if you did any dancing, it feels a bit off. A good rule of thumb, she continues, is that if it feels wrong, it probably is. Are you kidding me? Seriously? If it feels wrong, it probably is. This is what Melina's go-to is when she's in debates. She says, you can't tell me how I feel. And she's right about that. But no one has really been sharp enough to say, listen, this is not about how you feel, this is about what you do. Like, you can change, like, wouldn't change feelings like they change panties. I don't know how often Melina changes panties, given she shits in the forest and seems to like it, right? But it is what it is. No, you can't tell a woman how she feels, but you can judge a woman based on what she does. So make sure you guys keep that in mind. When a woman says, well, you can't tell me how I feel. No, I can't. But I sure as shit can judge you on your actions. She continues, another way to gauge it is this. Does it feel like he keeps asking unnecessary follow-up questions that are fact-based? If he's asking something subjective, e.g., did you have a good time? It's normal. Whereas something objective, e.g., what did you wear, is a sign of unhealthy jealousy. Oh boy. Oh boy. What actually is failing to mention here is that as men, we don't interrogate women out of nowhere for no reason. We just don't do that. We're not suspicious for just no reason.
Again, he's doing the thing where he's like judging all men as the same and all situations as the same and trying to, you know, conflate like, you know, the difference between somebody who is jealous and worried about their partner cheating when they have good reason to, with like a situation where somebody is like obsessive and jealous when they don't have good reason to, okay? Because it's two different things, alright? Because sometimes, and this could be men or women, okay? Sometimes they might be worried that their partner's cheating, or they might be worried that their partner's the sort that just flirts all the time with people in an inappropriate way, and it might be justified. In some cases, it's justified, okay? But she is talking about people who are unreasonably jealous, okay? And I'm pretty sure we have all seen people like this, both men and women, right? I've known people, both genders, okay, that are just so obsessively jealous that if their partner's talking to somebody of the opposite sex, even when it's perfectly innocent, that they kind of get angry and they get stressed about it, okay? I've known people who, like, if their partner goes out without them, they get so upset and so, like, bothered about it, and they're constantly ringing them, and they're like, where are you, when are you coming home, or constantly texting, and then if they don't get a text message back straight away, they're like, why haven't they answered their text, what are they doing, what are they up to? I've known people like that of both genders, okay, and like, that would be really annoying to be in a relationship with somebody like that, okay? That would be more likely to actually drive your partner away, okay? So I get what she's saying here. There's a difference between somebody, you know, a certain slight healthy amount of jealousy, like, it is to be expected, okay? You know, I mean, you know, everybody, especially when they first get into a relationship, when they get to know the person, there's a slight little bit of, like, you know, have I got any competition? Is somebody else interested in them? Do they like me that much, really? You know, a certain amount of jealousy is healthy, okay? But then there's the sort of obsessive, controlling, overly jealous, won't let their partner talk to somebody else, won't let their partner out of their sight. That is unnatural. And there's people of both genders like that. And I'm pretty sure that this Donavan Sharpe knows this. Okay, and is sort of playing dumb a little bit here and trying to make out, like, to his audience, like, oh, this silly woman, she's criticising a man for, like, you know, being suspicious of the woman when he's got good reason to be, when he knows full well that, like, no, she is talking about situations where you might be getting into a relationship with somebody who is jealous and possessive and controlling in an unhealthy way. That's what she's talking about, and I'm pretty sure he knows that, really.
Right? Before Devin started working for me, when she got home, I'd ask her about her day. I'd ask her about how her day was when she got home. Right? I'd ask her how her day went, and she would pretty much just tell me. Right? I'm not going to quiz her on the details unless I have reason to.
Okay, well, this woman didn't specifically say she was talking about you, did she? And she, as you know, didn't say that she was talking about every single man in the world, was she? When she says, like, to look for the red flags that somebody might be a toxic person, she didn't say that that's every man in the world and that any man who asks how your day is toxic. That's not what she said, is it?
Now, the two examples Ashley gives here are on the opposite ends of the spectrum and intellectually dishonest, gentlemen. For her to say that it's fine if he asks about her day after work, but then use the extreme example of the club to point out unhealthy jealousy is disingenuous, gentlemen. If a man's girlfriend goes to the bar or club, of course he's going to ask who was there. Of course he's going to be curious about how drunk she got and what she was wearing. He knows that getting all dolled up and going to a place where there are men and alcohol is an environment conducive to cheating. For her to say that it's unhealthy for a man to quiz his girlfriend in situations like this is literally telling men, on the other hand, that it is healthy to ignore the fact that your girlfriend is putting herself on the meat market for a quick rental.
You know, it seems to be like a common thing with these red pillers, and it's not just the men in the red pill community, I've noticed, that they seem to think that any time a woman goes out to a pub or a club or a bar or anything like that with friends, if she wants to make herself look nice, it's all got to be about attracting men, okay? It's like they think that the only thing that, like, a woman thinks about is attracting men, okay? When there's, like, lots of times when women go out with their friends, mostly female friends, just because they want to have a laugh, because they want to catch up on old friends. Like, people, men and women, they can go to pubs and they can have a laugh without it being about attracting attention from the opposite sex. Or people can go to discos, people can go to clubs, without it being about attracting somebody. It's not like not that everybody's just about, like, trying to attract attention from the opposite sex, you know, like bars and pubs and clubs and stuff like that. They're not all just like mating grounds, okay? Like, not everything's just about, like, hooking up with somebody. And it's weird that these red pillars just seem to think that that's what everybody does.
Then she says if something feels wrong, it probably is, but what she doesn't realize is that this is also a two-way street. You see, if a man's instincts are telling him something's amiss, probably is too. However, what she's describing as wrong on the female side is simply the knot she gets in the pit of her stomach when her boyfriend starts asking her questions that require her to lie about what she really got up to that night. You guys seeing a pattern here? This is why she is saying that following up with fact-based questions are unnecessary. It also shows us that modern women don't want fact-based questions because fact-based questions can't be manipulated. Unless, of course, she flat out lies, which is a regular occurrence in and of itself. So to avoid these situations, guys, don't commit to women who go out to bars or clubs, guys. I say this all the time. I don't care if she says she's not going to get up to anything or that she does it for fun or that she does it to blow off steam. Do not make her your girlfriend if she goes to bars or clubs. Period. Period. Let's continue. Normal, she says. Making a teasing comment about that sexy selfie you posted on Instagram. Not normal. Telling you that he doesn't approve of you posting such revealing photos on social media. As much as I wish it wasn't, it's pretty normal for guys to get jealous when their girlfriends post something sexy on the gram. Unfortunately, this is because of the way society treats men to see their female partners, so it's not totally your man's fault. A teasing comment like, damn, you must have been feeling yourself today, is somewhat normal, although still not ideal. However, when your boyfriend tries to control or have a say in what you post on your social media, that's when it starts charting into extremely unhealthy territory. Oh my goodness. If he communicates openly about his jealousy when you post certain things, tell him to talk about where the root of that jealousy comes from instead of simply acquiescing to his wishes. Chances are, once he tries to articulate the reason for his jealousy, both of you will realize that he has some things to work through on his own and that it's not really about you. So she says it's pretty normal for guys to get jealous when their girlfriends post something sexy on Instagram. But then she says it's not normal when he says he disapproves of it. Guys, this is the typical case of a woman knowing exactly how a man would react, but not giving credence to why he reacts this way. What she's saying here is that if you have, how can I put this? Is that if you have signed a 1-year lease to rent a home, and the owner of the house puts a for rent sign in the yard 3 months into your lease, that it's normal for you to be concerned about it, but not normal for you to bring your 1-year lease to the attention of the homeowner, letting them know you got another 9 months left on your lease and that they need to remove the for rent sign from the yard. Something that all girls know but never acknowledge is that posting revealing pictures on social media is advertising themselves.
Okay, so he said that he doesn't think women in a relationship should be posting revealing photographs of themselves on social media, and that it's okay for their partner to not like them posting revealing photos of themselves on social media because they're advertising themselves to men. Okay, bear in mind that he said that, okay, because he's going to show us something else a little bit later that kind of makes a bit of a mockery of what he's just said here. Okay.
Now, if you're single, advertise away. No harm, no foul. If you're looking to hook up with a bunch of dudes, that's perfectly fine if you're single. But when you are in a relationship, Expecting your boyfriend to remain silent is ridiculous. Of course he's gonna have a problem with it. You're a taken woman. You're in a committed relationship, and acting like you're not is going to rub him the wrong way. That is normal. Normal. Normal, she says. Wanting to meet your friends. Not normal. Always finding a reason to tag along when you have plans with your friends, and seemingly never giving you time alone with your friends. A telltale sign of a possessive partner is one that doesn't allow his partner to have alone time with her friends or even with her family. At the beginning of the relationship, it can seem like a great sign that your new boo wants to meet your family, but if you notice that you seemingly haven't had any alone time with your BFF since dating your new boyfriend, it might be a sign that he is trying to isolate you from your support system. Same goes for a boyfriend that wants to spend every waking moment with you. It may seem Romeo and Juliet-like, but it's actually waving a red flag that he is a controlling partner. This is, how can I put this? This is where women, modern women, this is where they like to feign ignorance about the kinds of people they surround themselves with. I'm going to give you a stat that I know to be 100% true. Never in the history of mankind has a man ever had a problem with his woman spending time with her married friends. If a man's wife or girlfriend has friends who are also in committed relationships with men they respect and love, and make sure that they don't engage in activities that put their respective relationships in danger, he has zero issues with her going to hang out with her friends to drink wine and watch movies at one of their houses, while he might have some of his homeboys over for a few beers to watch the game. Right? We got a problem with that, but what Ashley is leaving out here is that most of the time, modern women have friends who are hoes. Modern women have friends who are sleeping around. Modern women have friends who are cheating on their boyfriends or husbands, and those are the women we have a problem with. Women are always crying about how a man isolating them from their friends is controlling and possessive. But they always conveniently leave out the part about their support systems being made up of banana gobblers who are always in her ear about, well, you can do better, girl. Come out with us Friday night, it'll be fun. It wouldn't hurt to get on Tinder just to see what else is out there.
Okay, if somebody isolates their partner from their friends and family, yes, that is a sign of an abusive relationship. In fact, my understanding is that that is one of the first things that abusers do, whether it's a man or a woman, is they isolate their partners from everybody, okay? They stop them going out with their friends, stop them seeing their family, okay? And this has got nothing to do with whether their friends are married or single, alright? Or saying like, oh, it must be because their friends are, like telling them like, oh, you can do better, or you should go and find somebody else. It's like, well, there's only like two reasons. You know, well, most friends don't do that. Most friends are happy for their friend if they are in a happy relationship with a good person, okay? But like, if a friend is like trying to talk them into leaving the relationship or finding somebody else, there's only like two reasons, right? That would be either if they were a particularly sort of jealous person who didn't like their friend being happy, then they might like try to screw the relationship up. But the other reason would be if they recognise that their friend is in a toxic or abusive relationship, and that's why they would encourage them to leave. And that is part of the reason why people who are abusive do not like their partner to go out with friends or to socialise with family or friends, is because they don't want other people like realising that there's something wrong and trying to convince that person to leave their partner. That could be a man or a woman, but this stuff does happen.
She also uses the extreme false representation. I used to call this EFR. So this is the EFR, the extreme false representation technique, when she says spend every waking moment with you, to make women think that a man who wants to spend time with her is a bad thing. Look, man, check this out. I don't care how much a man likes a woman. No man wants to be around a bitch 24/7. And if he does, it ain't the kind of man women like Ashley Oozer date in the first place. What she's trying to do here, gentlemen, she's trying to put beta traits onto alpha males, which is what every blogger who specializes in relationships do in just about every situation they talk about.
When did she ever mention beta or alpha? Okay, this is something that, like, in the red pill community, these guys that keep constantly calling themselves alpha, that makes you think, like, that they're anything but alpha, okay? Because if you need to keep telling everybody what an alpha you are, this is like you're trying to convince yourself or you're trying to convince other people, okay?
So here's lesson number one, and this one is for the and this one's actually for the guys, okay? This is easy. If her friends are hoes, don't commit. If her friends are hoes, don't commit. All the cliches apply here. Birds of a feather. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and so on and so forth. Women are so easily influenced by women who have bad habits. Bad habits are easy to pick up on, guys. Bad habits are easy to pick up, but they are extremely hard to break. Good habits, gentlemen, are hard to maintain and very easy to drop. And as we all know, women have absolutely zero interest in doing what's difficult, even if it's for something they think is worthwhile. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, but those exceptions aren't because the woman you're dating isn't like her friends. No. It's because she has decided to preserve her relationship. She has decided that preserving her relationship with you is worth distancing herself from the friends who negatively influence her in your relationship. But if you are dealing with a typical modern American woman, it would be foolhardy to expect her to choose you over her friends. She wants to have it both ways, and she expects you to allow her to have it that way. Do not do it. Let's continue. Normal. Asking about your ex. Not normal. Asking you to block or unfriend your ex or other male friends, coworkers, etc. She continues. If it was up to me, she says, we'd all talk about our exes on the first date, and I usually do, she puts in parentheses. She sounds like a lovely woman. Someone's relationship with their ex and the way they talk about it can be a great way to learn what kind of partner they are. Just like a guy saying, all my exes are crazy is a red flag. So is any guy who asks you to block all communication with your ex. Even more so. Any guy who wants you to stop communicating with your male friends, coworkers, or other guys in your life. A healthy partner, she says, will support your friendships, even if they're with ex-boyfriends. A healthy partner will also trust you to communicate with members of the opposite sex without assuming the worst. After all, if he doesn't trust you, why is he dating you? Oh, this is cute. So now she's advising women to stay away from men who have a problem with their girlfriends staying in contact with men they've slept with in the past. This is why relationships are circling the drain, guys. Okay? Women actually follow advice like this, but then wonder why they can't keep a man who's worth the damn. So here's lesson number 2, guys. Here's lesson number 2. And most of us know this, but a lot of us need to hear it. Any woman who talks about her ex on the first date is not over her ex. What she's doing is she is sabotaging a girl's chance at a relationship by advising her to talk about her ex on the first...
Okay, this one, I think, depends a little bit on the situation, okay? Like, I don't think, like, a guy is unreasonable. Like, if he says that he, doesn't want his, girlfriend, to spend too much time with her ex, okay? If he's worried about something like that, I don't think that's unreasonable. I get that, like, okay, if they have children, if somebody has children with their ex, then they're gonna have to deal with them. But if not, if the partner says, like, well, you know, I really don't like you spending a lot of time with your ex, I would actually think that's fair enough. I personally would advise both men and women to not moan about your ex on a first date, okay? Like, even if you've got, like, still anger issues toward your ex, okay? And even if those anger issues are justified, if you keep moaning about your ex, you come across as bitter, and that's a turn-off for people, okay?
Look, guys. You can say whatever you want about me. You can say whatever you want about me. You can call me a fraud, you can call me this, call me that. Call me a career criminal, call me this, call me that. No. Say whatever you want. My woman is in check. Not only that, she is in shape, gentlemen. That's right, guys. That's right. Devin absolutely shattered her goal of 125 pounds. Shattered it. She's 123 pounds, y'all. And this is what she looks like.
You say, this is what she looks like, and then there's no face, there's just a body. It's nice to know that your girlfriend means so much to you.
This is what she looks like. Pardon the junk in the room. Our housekeeper hadn't showed up yet. This was early in the morning. But yes. So when I tell guys, hey, don't commit to a woman who doesn't stay in shape, don't commit to a woman who gets overweight, guess what? You guys damn well better believe that my woman is going to be in good shape. You better believe it. Are you kidding me? Guys, you have to stop putting you have to stop putting your trust into these frauds out here. Anthony Johnson calls me a fraud for no other reason but that he wants to shut down the CME. That's it. There's no reason he should call me. Yes, in my career I've committed a lot of crimes, 4-time convicted felon, been arrested 30 some odd times. Hey, got me there. But one thing he ain't got me on is the way I run my fucking relationship. This is why you guys follow me, because I walk the walk that I talk all the time. All the time. Let me show you guys a series of pictures. That illustrates this, and of course this is going to take a while. Devin works her ass off every single day to maintain this figure. Every single day. Dude, bitches half her age. There are bitches half her age. Devin will be 47. There are 23-year-old women who can't get under 190 pounds. And Devin, with no thyroid, at 46 years old, no thyroid, female, looks like this. There is no excuse for any woman of any age to be obese.
Okay, remember how before he talked about how it would be inappropriate for his girlfriend to take, like, skimpy photographs of herself and put it on social media to get attention from men? But now here he is, like, showing photographs of her nearly naked to, like, his, audience. Okay, and that's alright. Alright, okay. It's okay to get, like, attention on her figure as long as he is the one that's posting the pictures online, okay, so that he gets the attention.
I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. It does not matter to me. I don't care. So, I guess I'll put those other screenshots up a little bit later, if I can find them.
So wait, you're trying to find more photographs of your girlfriend half naked to, like, show all your viewers? Like, why don't you just start an OnlyFans, and then maybe you can make money out of these pictures, okay?
1023 says, I've got to seek a woman like that. In fact, I'm still looking. No, ABR, 1023. Devin did not look or act like this when I met her. Nope. I had to strip Devin down to the studs. Literally down to the studs. I had to rid her of all of the habits that got her into the situation that she was in, and build her brick by brick into who and what she is today. Yep, listen, Devin still has the same personality. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to say that she doesn't. She's not unrecognizable personality-wise. There's no need for me to say all that. But I'll tell you what, her friends don't even recognize her. Matter of fact, one of her best friends, told Devin, she's like, I don't even recognize you anymore. What's with all of this wearing? If you don't want to wear high heels, then don't wear high heels, and da-da-da-da-da. And that's the point. You're goddamn right you don't recognize her anymore. You're goddamn right you don't recognize her ass anymore. This is what happens to women who are under the tutelage of a man who has the resolve to make the changes necessary to make her a respectable woman. Now, if Devin and I were ever to split up, whether it's me or her that initiates it, guess what? She's going right back to the habits that she was doing before I got a hold of her. That's real talk. That is real talk. That is absolute real talk. And yeah, it took me a good solid year and a half, but it's been worth it. Here we are, 7 years later. 7.5 years later, and she looks better than she did when I met her.
And we should all know by now what a woman looks like is the most important thing ever. And also, like, it doesn't matter whether somebody like Donavan Sharpe actually keeps in shape and looks after himself. It's only a woman's appearance that is important. Okay, so as long as she's lost weight and does everything to make herself look sexy to Donavan Sharpe and his audience that he wants to show off to, that is the most important thing in the world. But also, his claim that her friends don't recognise her anymore. Now, that's a bit of a telltale sign, okay? Because, well, yeah, getting in shape and making an effort to look better is a good thing, but when it's a case of people saying they don't recognise somebody anymore, like, this sort of implies really drastic changes, okay? Not just a case of, like, living a better lifestyle, okay? And also, I kind of wonder, like, when he says don't recognise her anymore, do they just mean appearance, or are they talking personality-wise as well? Because this, to me, this sounds kind of disturbing, okay? Like, the idea of somebody completely changing their partner that's not normal, okay? That's somewhat of a worry. And when he says, like, oh, if he left her, she would just go back to her normal self, it's like, well, if you're controlling her, that's not a good thing. I mean, somebody wanting to self-improve, that's good, yeah, but people can only self-improve for their self. I mean, having an added incentive to want to improve for your partner is a good thing as well. But if it's a case of, like, oh, if we split up, she just go back to her normal self, this kind of implies that he's completely changed her, okay? Because his girlfriend, Devon, she's an adult woman, okay? She's in charge of herself, of her own life, okay? So, she should get to decide who she is and what she looks like or what kind of person she wants to be. So this idea that, like, oh no, if I left her, she'd just suddenly go back to her normal self. This is like implying that he is changing her and he is in charge of her, okay? So that's kind of disturbing because that's really not a good sign.
But Donavan Sharpe's a fraud, right? Oh, but you can't do that with a 23-year-old. Nope, sure can't. I sure can't. But let me ask you something. What 23-year-old do you know looks like that? But you can't do that with a 19-year-old. Nope, probably couldn't. Because 19 to 23, young American, attractive women, they're all feral. They're all feral. So listen, you guys can talk all this shit you want. It bothers me not one bit, because I get to fuck this body every goddamn night.
You see what kind of respect these guys have for their partners. It's not like, I'm the luckiest man in the world because I've got the most kindest, compassionate, loveliest woman ever, or she's such an intelligent person, or she's so funny, or she's such a caring, good wife, or she's such a good mother. No. It's like, oh, look, do you see this body? I get to fuck it every night. Is that the most important thing? Because if it is, like, just buy a sex doll, okay? Don't bother getting into a relationship and wasting some other human being's time.
Look at that. And believe it or not, boys, she actually looks better naked. She actually looks better naked. I was gonna round up the outfits I was gonna make her wear tonight.
Make her wear. Make her wear. She has a right to wear what she wants. You haven't got a right to tell her what she's got to wear. Okay. And we've already established, right, if his girlfriend Devon, if she was putting on lots of different skimpy outfits and taking photos and posting them on social media, he would have been angry about that. He would say that that's wrong to be like advertising yourself to men like that when you're in a relationship. However, he can like apparently make her lose weight, make her wear outfits, take loads of photographs, and then stick it on will show it off on his channel just so that he can say, look, my girlfriend's so sexy, I'm such an alpha male because I control my girlfriend. Okay. And obviously stuff like eating healthy and exercise is good for you, okay? But people should do it like if they want to do it. They should do it for themselves. They shouldn't be like made to do it or railroaded into doing it. It should be their choice, okay? And I'm willing to bet that this Devon, she can't dictate to Donavan what he should do and what he should wear and who he should talk to and what he should eat and tell him that he's got to have work done and stuff like that, okay? So, like, no, men don't have the right to tell women what they have to do either. Now, I think some of this is got to do with people in the past. They have taken the mickey out of Donavan over his girlfriend's appearance, okay? Because she used to be just a little bit overweight, like not massively, but just, you know, had a little bit of weight on her. And because guys in the manosphere like only judge women on appearance and think that men should only date like women if they're like 20 years old and look like supermodels, people have sort of taken the piss out of Donavan for this a little bit. And I suspect that's partly the reason why he wanted to lose weight and get in shape, okay. When really your relationship's got nothing to do with other people. Like, whether you're a man or a woman, you shouldn't be treating your partner like they're a trophy. Like, oh, you've got to be in shape so I can show my friends what you look like, and it's to make myself look better, or like telling her what to do just so that you can try to prove to like your misogynistic audience that like, oh look, I'm an alpha male because I put my woman in her place, okay. And this Donavan Sharpe also gives advice to men on how to train a woman like a dog, okay? And I'm not exaggerating there. He literally believes that it is your job to train the woman and to tell her what she's got to be like and to mould her into like what you think is your ideal partner, okay? And this is the same kind of like attitude that you get from like Andrew Tate and quite a lot of the red pillars, to be honest, is this not seeing women as actually humans and not seeing them as like people that have like individual personalities and all that. Most of them can't even be bothered to like get to know a woman's personality. Like he said at the beginning, like he's not interested in hearing what a woman's got to say because he'll describe them as just vapid, boring. It's like they no interest in knowing the woman or talking to the woman. To them, it's like a woman is a hollow, just creature that they're supposed to like take over, and they're supposed to like take over her mind and like give her the personality or lack of personality or whatever that, and try to mold her into being like what they think she should be. It's really like quite disgusting, okay. And this is the problem that you get with this red pill community and why the red pill community is so toxic, okay, is because you get a mixture, right? You get some men in the red pill community who they're the ones that are toxic in relationships and they can never see it. They don't think that they can ever do anything wrong, okay? That's why they come out with all this cult-like rubbish about how everybody else is in the matrix, they're the only ones who can see the truth, their way of treating women is the right way, all the other men are manginas, you know, they put women down and say women are less than them, but they also put other men down and say that other men are less than them, okay, because they're the toxic ones, okay. And a lot of like what they say about people like leaves projection, because they accuse women of being selfish, uncaring, parasites, when I think it's actually a description of some of them. And they'll like, put other men down and say what beta males and all that they are, when actually they're the ones that are most insecure about their masculinity. Okay, if you need to keep telling yourself, I'm an alpha male, or you have to like put your girlfriend down and try to ruin her self-confidence in order to make yourself feel good. Like bullies are cowards, and people that put other people down, they do it because they don't like their self. Okay, that's okay. So they're not alpha males, and a lot of the insults and put downs that they aim at other people, both men and women, is kind of projecting, I think, their own kind of self-hatred. Okay, but then you also get, in the red pill community, you get men that have been in relationships with women that were toxic to them, okay, and that women that have treated them badly and have hurt them badly. Some of them, I think they've been with a few women that have hurt them badly, or some of them, I think it was their mothers as well. So they already have this negative opinion of women. So of course, when they come to the red pill community and they listen to all these other guys talking about female nature and about like how terrible women are, they kind of think like, well, yeah, they're right. I mean, every woman that I've ever been with was like this. They're right, it's female nature. And they don't recognise that like it was the type of woman that they were going for, or they don't recognise that the men that are like influencing them, or the men that are prancing around saying that they're alpha males and know everything, are actually kind of the same as the women that they've been in relationships with. As in, like, you get toxic men and you get toxic women, and you get, in the red pill community, you get men that are toxic but are blaming it all on women, but then you also get men that have been with toxic women who are susceptible to this brainwashing from these guys because they have a negative opinion of women. And then you get like the young men who haven't had much experience with women and are lacking confidence, or some of them are incels, and they believe everything that they hear about women as well because they haven't had any experience from women, and they're listening to men that are older who they think are wiser than them, and they're getting a wrong impression of women as well. Okay, and so this is why, like, in the red pill community and in the manosphere, you have like this massive, like, just load of really, really angry men who are all just full of this about how terrible women are and paint the picture of women as just being monsters. Okay, it's pretty much mostly a hate group. Okay, I mean, I know that might be a little unfair because there's going to be, there'll be some channels that are reasonable, and that's all I've got to say about that for now. Thank you for listening.